What's up, guys? So, as requested, this is a quick update on how Unity VR is working nowadays. So, we have received some updates from Unity and from Google in the previous months, and the package used for activating the virtual reality mode has changed, so it's a bit different. I'm doing this test with Unity 5.6.1 F1. This is the latest version by the time of this recording. If you got the source code from the projects that we did in this course, it still works with the Unity package version 1.0. That is the package provided by Google. So if you want to try and check out how the projects were working before, you can just download that older version. We are going to provide this link for you. But still, if you want to know how the updated mode is going to work, just check out this video. To start, I'm going to quickly make a new project. So I'm going to name this cardboard test in the projects folder as usual with 3D mode enabled, and I'm going to hit create project to wait for everything to be ready. So there are a few differences from the previous version, but essentially it's still the same logic. We use the same techniques that we used for the previous video. They are going to be used in this one. So first of all, we need to go to File and Build Settings. If you hit Player Settings as the project opens, you're going to look that here in Other Settings, starting from Unity 5.6, there's this new option, Virtual Reality Supported. So this is now coming bundled with Unity. Before you needed SDKs from all sorts to make it work, but now it comes with Unity. Okay, we need to mark this checkbox. As you mark it, you're going to see that Oculus is already set here. But if you press the plus button, you see no other options appeared here. Okay, we have OpenVR, we have other two options here, but there's no cardboard here. There are a few things we have to do just to be safe. First of all, we're going to switch our platform to Android if you're going to test on Android, or iOS if it's the case. But I'm going to quickly switch for Android, okay, just to be here. And we need to mark virtual reality supported again, okay, and you see that you now have this cardboard option. We're going to select this, okay. It is essential for this to work, okay. Now that we have cardboard selected, we're going to download the latest Google VR for Unity package file. Okay, I'm going to double click it, and once this is completely unpacked, we're simply going to press import. Okay, so let's wait a little bit. All files are going to be added here, and well, basically wait. And just keep in mind that this happens from time to time. It's a natural process when you're dealing with technology, when you're working with games or programming, because packages upload all the time, mobile devices change, they get better, the way we code things gets better, so we need to do this update from time to time. It's a completely normal process. But essentially it's the same thing. We don't no longer have the GVR viewer main prefab, but we have something that works pretty much the same way. Okay? Once the import is done, we're going to Google VR folder, we're going to the prefabs folder, which is this one, and we have this GVR editor emulator prefab. I'm going to drag and drop this here, okay, and you're going to see that there's a camera field. I'm going to drag this main camera game object and drop here, okay, and just by doing that, if you press the play button as it was working before, if you hold the Alt or the Option button, you're able to look around. It's the same thing. Okay. If you want to have a reticle, well, we do it like before. UI folder, we have this GVR reticle pointer prefab. We just drag and drop this to the camera and hit play. Okay, so if you look around, you're going to see the white reticle there, just as before. We just don't use the stereo view in the editor, but we can simulate that usage of the VR mode here in the editor. But now, there is one last thing that we need to do to make sure everything is going to work properly, and that thing is basically check if raycasts are working just fine. Okay, to do this, let's make a very simple script here. Right click, create, C# script. I'm going to name this script player and hit enter, so it's going to get ready. I'm going to select the main camera here and rename it to player, just so it's going to make more sense. Player. And now I'm going to drag this script here. Okay, so how are we going to test if raycasts are going to work? I'm going to add a very simple sphere to this scene. So right click, 3D object and sphere. Let's move it to this position up here. Okay, there we go. And now let's open the player script. So let's do a quick refreshing over how raycast works. Imagine you're going to shoot a ray in from a certain position towards a certain direction. Okay, and if we hit something, that hit information is going to be saved in a raycast hit object. So here in the update method, this is what we're going to do. Raycast hit, and now we do the actual raycast. We add an if block, and now we ask if physics.raycast, the parameters are transform.position as the first one, because this is the origin of the ray. Transform.forward is the forward direction of the ray, and that forward direction changes because this is the camera itself. And to save the hit information, we're going to type out hit. So if we get inside this scope, it means we hit something. And to print the name of that thing that we hit, we just type debug.log hit.transform.name. Okay, that's all we need to test the raycast. So we save, go back to Unity, we wait for the script to be compiled, and then we're going to hit play to test this out. Okay, so a few seconds, and there we go. I'm going to press the play button. So here we are. You're going to see that the console showed nothing about the hit information, just so debug from GVR. And let me just put this sphere outside of the player just to make sure. Okay, so this position is fine. Okay, layer the full, everything seems okay. I'm going to press play, and let's find that sphere, which is here. If I look at it, we are printing the message sphere, which is the exact thing that we hit. So you see, something's changed. We no longer use GVR Viewer, but we use GVR Editor Emulator, but essentially it's the same thing. We can't change mathematics, okay? We are looking at something, we are going to check the forward vector and perform the raycast. So even though technologies change, some very basic things, some very mathematical things, they don't change. It's the same logic, the same games. So if you have went through this course and faced this technological change, you can just switch the prefabs that we were using before and point to the camera that's being used here. If you are new to this course, just every time you check for the GVR Viewer main, instead use the GVR Editor Emulator to check this out. Okay, so I'd like to thank everyone who pointed out for this, and I hope this update is good enough for you to keep working on all of the prototypes that we have available. And if you have any more questions, any more suggestions, please feel free to let us know what we can do to improve this course even more. All right, so my name is Glauco Pires, and I see you next time.